started. Yeah, so we're on our 4th week of this 4-week series. It's been an introduction to yoga and Vedanta. So we talked about how many of us probably are a little bit familiar with yoga and what a yoga practice might look like. But this term Vedanta, what is that? And so maybe we'll just do a quick review of some of the bits that we've been exploring. And so Vedanta is a school in Hindu thought that comes directly from these ancient scriptures called the Upanishads, or from the Vedas. So the Vedas are these books, and then the last chapters of those books is called the Upanishads. And the Upanishads hold the highest wisdom. And so we've been exploring some terminology coming from these books that, although it's ancient wisdom, it's really applicable even to today. And so we've been going through all of these lovely ideas and terms, and we've already covered so much, but I have 2 that we're going to focus on for this last class tonight. And so the first one, I'm going to introduce the idea of the Atman. And so the Atman is, and it relates to some of our other terminology we've already explored. The Atman is the soul, or the true self that we're trying to get to through our yoga practice or through whatever mindfulness practices we have. Hopefully, we have glimpses of that just in what we would consider just our normal day-to-day, when we experience joy or gratitude or our giving self, our highest self. It's the self that's beyond the identity with the ego. And we're trying to catch glimpses of the Atman. And this term Atman, it brings me back to our first class where I was introducing this prayer or mantra of the whole ethos of Vedanta, which is that, it was Brahman alone is real, the world is an illusion, and you and Brahman are essentially, you are the same. Brahman being source or essence, God, spirit, however you want to term that. So that alone is real, the world is an illusion, and you and that are the same. So, and a key concept, I don't think I've mentioned this yet, is that in Vedanta, it's a non-dual spirituality. So there are certain spiritualities where there's God or there's source, and then there's you, and you're separate from each other, and that's duality. This is a non-dual practice where you are that. And the Atman is just another word that says that. It's when we cut through the layers and we have a taste of that experience of being one with Brahman, source, God, essence, spirit. So it's just another word for our toolkit. And so it's like nirvana. It's likened to, I guess I was going to say nirvana, but actually that brings us to our second word of the night, which maybe we're about to, this is our 4th class, and we're at the end, we're that much closer, which is why I saved it to the end, to this idea of moksha, or liberation. And so those 2 kind of go hand in hand. When we experience, this is like moksha is like the verb to the noun Atman. It's how we get there. So we would have this taste of moksha or liberation, or in Buddhism, it's nirvana. And so, it's the ultimate end of suffering, and it represents a state within ourselves. So, and it's this idea that we're really capable of making this life here either a hell or a heaven, and it's our choice always. So we want to be constantly moving towards this moksha place instead of letting that goal of tasting that slip away from us. And so we'll continue to weave this into our movement practice. And this movement practice, we're going to be focusing on we're going to be reviewing a lot of the quintessential yoga poses and breathwork techniques that we've already been doing. And so we can look at this as a review, maybe tracking some progress as we go. And so we're going to start with the Om. Excuse me 1 second. Okay. We're going to start with the Om. And we experienced 2 classes ago, that the sound with Zoom, and I tried to play with sound settings, and it was not capturing the Om, that for it to transfer from the microphone from through the ether of the internet to you. And so you may not hear me oming, but we're going to do it together. And so you can focus on the sound of your own Om that's coming out of your vocal cords, toning into your space and purifying the room that you're practicing in. And again, the Om being representative of all states of being, sleeping, waking, and deep dreaming. So it's deep sleep, waking, and dreaming states. This trinity of being. And so we're going to close the eyes and we'll take a moment, just take a few deep breaths together. And so coming into your body, into your space. And just start to deepen your breath. You can drop the shoulders down the back. Good. We'll do, wherever you're at in your breath, we're going to take 2 more deep, full breaths together. So you inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then exhale just as long for 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, inhaling deeply, feeling a rise through the crown of your head and a rooting down through your seat. Exhale, finding yourself landing in your body a bit more completely. And then we're going to inhale a comfortable breath to tone our Om. Inhale. We're going to do that again. We'll do it 2 more times. Total of 3 Oms. So you can take a deep breath in. Just toning into the space. And one more breath in for that last expression of the Om. And then coming back to your breath and just enjoying the silence, near silence, with the exception of my voice that comes after. Then from here, we're going to, let's just move a little bit since we've been seated for a moment. Let's just circle the neck, and so you can let your head fall to one side. And then maybe you let it drop back. That's comfortable, or you can take it straight across from ear to ear. If that's not, letting it fall to the other side. And then letting it drop forward. Inhale as you come up and around. Maybe it comes back, or maybe it comes straight across. And then exhaling as you let the head fall forward. Good. Breathing. Just moving. Sometimes I just shock myself. I'm like, how could it be so late in the day and I haven't done any neck rolls yet? This feels so good. And then slowing it down, you change direction. Very good. A few times around until you feel nice and even. And you pick the head back up, bring it back to center, hands on your knees. And we're just going to circle the torso. So you can start to lean over to one side and then swing the chest, the heart around forward to get to the other side. And then you start to reach back and you kind of hug your shoulders forward like you're hugging your heart on your front body. Or continuing around. Very good. And you can get groovy with it. There's no right or wrong way for this to look. And then change direction, circle around the other way. Very good. And then zip it back up to center. So come back to our center selves. If you need to stretch out your legs and switch them, you can certainly take your legs out, bounce the knees, shake the feet. Take it out, because we are going to do two pranayama techniques. So if you recall from class number 2, we talked about prana, prana being the life force energy that we invite into our bodies. And one of the most direct ways to work with prana is through the breath. And so we're going to do Kapalabhati, which is skull shining breath. We did that together once before, but for a review, it's this forceful exhale through the nose. So you focus on the exhale through both nostrils. Inhales through the nostrils as well, all through the nose. But you focus on the exhale, and as you exhale, you'll feel your belly pull back. And so there's a little bit of abdominal pumping that's happening. And so we'll do this together. Just a quick review, it looks like this. So it looks like this. Good. So it's like dragon breath, if you think. Sending that breath out. And so you can find your comfortable seat, however that looks. Maybe you switch to a chair, or you have your legs extended, anything that's comfortable. You sit up nice and tall and straight. And then you're going to we'll take a clearing, cleansing breath first, inhaling deeply. Exhaling fully through the nose. And then we'll inhale a comfortable breath to begin these pumpings. Inhale, comfortable breath in. And then exhale, 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 exhale. The inhale between. Good. Hansu, 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 hansu. 1, 2, 1, 2. Slow it down. Good. And then take a deep breath in. Exhale that deep breath out. And then let's inhale a comfortable breath in for a short retention. So you take the breath in. And this is where we collect that prana, the life force energy. After exerting ourselves a little bit, we're going to sit with the breath. You hold it in just comfortably for as long as you're able. And whenever you're ready, you just slowly exhale it back out through the nose, taking your time as long as you'd like. And just coming back to your own rhythmic breathing for a moment. Just checking in. So if this is a newer practice test, it can feel quite foreign, strange, maybe a challenge sometimes to find a rhythm. But just knowing that even if it's not a perfect practice, it's doing the work on you. There's subtle energies at play. So we're going to do one more round of this practice, the Kapalabhati practice. And so we'll take a clearing, cleansing breath together. We'll inhale deeply. And exhale fully. And then inhale a comfortable breath to begin. Hands, 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 hands. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, slowing it down, doing your best to stay within as we take a deep breath in, filling up the lungs. When you're ready, you can exhale that breath out. And then we're going to come into our retention. And so inhale, comfortable breath in, collecting energy from the breath, chronic capture. suspending the breath inside of you. And this is where that exchange happens. So just the beautiful mechanism, the perfect mechanisms of our bodies, where we receive the oxygen we need from the breath, and then the exchange of the CO2 and other toxins that we no longer need is happening. And then whenever you're ready, you exhale that out. If you have not already. Just exhale, and then just sitting and noticing if you feel a bit more present, if there was challenge, if there was ease. And then we can switch out the legs if you'd like. If you want to extend and shake out the legs, we're just going to do our second pranayama. So switching now to a new technique, or another technique. We covered this last week. This is another quintessential practice and this one's called Analoma Viloma, and it translates to mean alternate nostril breathing. And so we're working with energy channels or meridians. And last week, someone posed the question of what is a meridian? And a meridian is pathways through which energy moves, or it can be defined as a circle passing through poles or through the zenith of a place. And we have them within our bodies. So there's ley lines or meridians, or in yoga, it's the nadi system. There's these channels, and this works with those channels, and it helps to clear them and to balance them. And so what we're going to do for alternate nostril breathing is you're going to put up your right hand. So take your right hand, you're going to extend your thumb, and then your last two fingers, so your pinky and your ring finger, extend out. And this is then going to turn to face you. And so your thumb becomes the toolkit to block your right nostril, and your ring finger blocks your left. And you use this to alternate one nostril at a time. And if you're congested or experiencing allergies, or if you need to, you can actually use this mudra to hold open the airways. So sometimes when I'm breathing through one side, I'll use that finger to kind of hold it open and breathe even more fully. So again, you're going to sit up nice and straight. We're going to take a deep breath in through both nostrils, and then out. And then go ahead and block your right nostril with your thumb and breathe in just on the left. So breathing in slowly, fully, and then close both nostrils for just a moment. Doesn't need to be a hard pinch, just a light touch. And then open up on the right and exhale. Empty, empty, empty. And then staying here on the right, go ahead and inhale on your right side. Deep full breath, and then block both nostrils for just a moment. Opening up now on the other side, on the left, and exhaling, exhaling, exhaling. Good. Inhale, left side, breathing in. And then a short retention, holding both nostrils. And we're going to open up on the right and exhale fully, really focusing on this long, full exhalation, pressing all the stale air out, drawing navel to spine, squeezing. And then you'll fill back up. So inhale. Maybe inhaling for 4 seconds. 3, 4. And then retain. You're going to retain a little bit longer each time. And then opening up on the left and exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe you have a little bit more air you can squeeze out before inhaling again for 1, 2, 3, 4. Retain. And then opening up on the other side, exhaling maybe a little bit longer for 6 seconds. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good work. Inhaling for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And retain. We're always going at our own pace too. If my counting isn't serving you, just move on and keep on going side to side. Open up other side. I'm on the left. If you're with me, opening up and exhaling for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All the air comes out. Inhaling for 1, 2, 3, 4. Retain. Again, pranic capture, just noticing maybe a stillness or a quiet in your mind since you're focusing on the task at hand. then opening up on the right or whichever side you're on and exhaling now for 8 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good work. Inhaling for 1, 2, 3, 4, and retain. Have a sense of the energy that swirls around inside of you. Maybe just mentally scanning the body. And then whenever you're ready, you'll open up on the other side, the left perhaps, and exhaling for 8 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Retain. A little bit longer if this is comfortable for you. If you're familiar with the energetic locks and you want to apply those bandhas, you're certainly welcome to it. I'm not going to explain those tonight. Then you can open up on the right and exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good work. Inhaling for 1, 2, 3, 4. Retain. And opening up. Exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhaling for 1, 2, 3, 4. Retain. This will be our second to last retention. Exhaling on the right, perhaps, for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhaling. 1, 2, 3, 4. Retain. And then exhaling on the left. We end on the left nostril, if you can, if that's where you're at. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Empty, empty, empty. All the stale air comes out, and then you can lower your hand down and bring the breath in now through both nostrils, calling in a sense of balance. Balancing our active and our creative sides, our heating and our cooling, our sun and our moon aspects. And just sitting in this for just a moment, noticing. And so before we move on now fully into our movement practice, just to continue to give you insights on that exercise of Anuloma Viloma, the golden ratio is that you inhale for 4, you retain for 16, and you exhale for 8. And so it's the exhale is twice as long as the inhale, and the retention is twice as long as the exhale, is the ratio. And so I don't count out loud on the retention because I want us to be able to focus on its meditative aspects. But as far as a home practice goes, you do what you can, what's comfortable, and you maybe building to that amount, that starting amount, and then eventually maybe people who are well practiced go to longer, but at that ratio. Very good. And so we're going to get up. We're going to come off of the floor. And so you can maybe roll forward. Maybe you take a gentle cat-cow for a moment. You can move around your spine. And we'll come back to the ground eventually, but we're going to come up to standing. And so from hands and knees, maybe you find downward facing dog. And then just looking up at your hands, walk your feet towards your hands, bend the knees as much as you need to, and come on up. I'm going to reposition us a little bit. There we go. What do I want? Don't mind me. I'm not a techie. I gotta run in my own tech. Okay. And we're going to now, we're going to work with our sun salutation practice. So we've done this a few times. And the sun salutation being a near perfect exercise. The yogis teach it because it's movement. It's working with the undulation in our spine, but at the same time, it's linking our breath. And there's definitely a meditative quality to this. And so we're going to start by standing. So you want to get your feet right underneath of you. And what I like to do is lift up all 10 toes, spread them out like a paper fan, and then set them back down. So I'm really rooted. And then from there, you can turn your palms forward and take a deep breath in. And then exhale, bring it to your heart. So it's a simple action, but this is the reset. This is like calling in the intention and grounding back in. So exhale, hands to the heart. And then we begin to flow. We inhale the arms up, take it to the sky. Exhale, arms go out wide, and we fold from our waist. Hinging at the hips, start to come down towards the ground. Let yourself dangle. You can bend the knees a little bit if you'd like. And then on an inhale, let's half lift. So come out with your spine parallel to the earth on the horizon. Neck in line with the spine. You don't want to arc the neck too much. And then exhale, we fold again. A little bit deeper this time, maybe. Again, you can bend your knees. And you're going to get your hands on the ground. So bend the knees as much as you need to. Touch your hands down to the ground. We're going to step the right leg back behind us. Right leg steps back. Knee comes to the floor. And you can relax your foot back behind you and find a low lunge. So take a moment for a slow lunge of the day, maybe. You can wiggle a little bit in this. And then we'll plant the hands. We're going to step back for plank. Toes are turned under, and you find a nice strong plank, lifting your whole body. Fingers spread wide as part of your base. Good. And then from here, we're going to drop the knees. Toes stay curled under, and then chest and chin come down towards the floor, but the hips stay high if you can. Chest and chin between the hands, elbows tucked in. This is 8-pointed prostration, 8-pointed bowing. We got the 8 points of the toes, the knees, the chest, the chin, and the 2 hands. Those 8 touch points. Good. And you're breathing. We're expressing all of our curves. And then you can relax the feet down and send the hips forward, send the belly forward, the chest forward, head and chest lift up, and you find a little baby cobra. Take a breath or two here. Maybe even float the hands off the ground and just see where your low back is taking you on its own tonight. Good. Drop the hands back down, and you're going to press up and back into downward facing dog. So you can come through tabletop, or you can come straight back. Downward facing. Good. And then getting ready to step the right foot forward. So you can lift it up a little bit if that feels good, finding 3-legged dog with that leg up in the air for a moment, getting momentum, or maybe that doesn't feel right and you just start to look up to the hands and step it up. If it doesn't come up on its own, then you might need to reach back and grab it. You find low lunge on the other side. Maybe a little wiggle again. And we're going to come up to standing in our forward fold. So you get strong on that front right foot, and then bring the left foot up to meet it, folding forward. Just waterfall hang. Maybe take a breath or two here. We're going slow on this first round. Letting yourself dangle. And then inhale. You're going to rise from your waist, unhinging from the waist. Reach all the way up. Your arms can come up. Maybe there's a deep, full breath. Maybe there's a little back bend at the top. And then exhale, hands come back down beside you. And then we do that reset breath. Palms forward, inhale. Exhale, bring it to the heart. Inhale, scoop it up to the sky, nice and tall. Exhale, hinge from the waist and fold. Inhale, flat back. So just sliding the hands up the shins, sending the shoulders back towards your hips. And then exhale, fold deeper. Hands find the floor, step the left leg back this time. So left leg steps as far back behind you as you can take it. Knee to the floor, relax your foot. Come up high in the crown of the head. Take a deep breath in and then plant the hands, step back for plank. Plank pose, strong plank. And you can always drop the knees if you'd like. We're all going there in just a moment. So holding this for a breath or two, and then exhale, drop your knees, chest and chin to the ground. Good. Take a breath here. And then on an inhale, slide forward, slither forward, embody that little cobra self. Gaze turns up. Maybe you press into the ground just the littlest bit this time. And release back down. We're going to come back into our down dog. So you can come straight back or through tabletop. Now let's take a breath or two here in our down dog. And so now taking a little bit of time to set ourselves up in a really great downward facing dog. And so if we're still new to our yoga practice, this can be a difficult posture, but as we become more practiced, this becomes like home base. It should start to feel more like a resting pose eventually, which might sound funny right now if it doesn't feel that way. But you can pedal the feet a little bit, just sending your weight into one leg at a time and reaching the heel towards the floor. You really want to spread the fingers wide as part of your base, and you want to wrap the arms around the outside of the body. So it's almost like you're turning your elbow crease forward, and the biceps are wrapping around the upper arm. From here, let's just do one thing I like to do to find a fuller down dog. I invite you to come on your tippy toes, bend your knees a little bit, and then from that position, turn your tailbone to the sky and imagine you could just sit on the ceiling. Then from there, straighten the legs back out, send the heels to the ground. And that should help you find that upside down V shape, that pyramid shape with your body. And now we're going to continue with the salutation. We're going to step the left foot forward. So get ready to step your left foot forward between your hands. Step it as high up as you can. Drop the knee, come into low lunge on the other side. Sink the hips. And then when you're ready, the right foot's going to step forward, forward fold. Good. Inhale, unhinge from your waist, come all the way up to standing. And exhale, release the hands back down beside you. Palms turn forward. Inhale. Exhale to your heart. Inhale, scoop it up. Exhale, we fold these bodies in half to the earth. Inhale, flat back like the horizon. Exhale, fold. Hands on the floor. Step the right leg back behind you. Right leg steps back. You come into your lunge. Inhale. And then if you can, retain that breath and find that strong plank. Just for a moment with the breath. And then exhale, drop knees, chest, chin as you lower yourself to the ground. Inhale, sliding forward for cobra. And exhale, press back, downward facing dog. So you can be, again, coming through tabletop. You're also welcome to take child's pose at any time. Really, this is a practice for you to just get connected. I've had students that spend almost the whole class in child's pose, and I think that they had a very great practice. So, totally up to you. So you're going to go ahead and get ready to step the right leg forward. So if you want to lift it high, you can. Step it all the way up to the ground. Inhaling. And then as you exhale, you'll step into your fold. So we're always exhaling as we fold if we can, because you're smushing your belly, so we can press all the air out. And then inhale, come up to rise, standing. Exhale, release. Palms forward, inhale. Exhale, drop to your heart. Inhale, fall. Exhale, folding. Inhale, flat back. Shoulders pull back. Exhale, fold. Plant the hands, step the left foot back behind you. Left foot step back. Knee down, look up. And then retain for plank if we can. So strengthening our bodies with a strong plank position. Exhale to lower, knees, chest, chin. Inhale, slide forward for cobra. And exhale, take it back, downward facing. Very good. You can settle the feet. 3 full breaths here in our down dog. And then looking up between the hands, getting ready to step your left foot forward. The left foot will step up. Low lunge. And then exhale, right foot steps forward. Forward fold. Inhale, we rise. Exhale, release. We'll do one more round, both sides, left and or right and left. So turning the palms forward, inhale. Exhale, bring it to your heart. Inhale, scoop it up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Plant the hands. It's the right leg that steps behind you. Inhale as you come into your lunge. And then retain for plank. Strong plank. Knees, chest, chin as you exhale to the ground. Inhale, slide forward, cobra. And exhale, press back, downward facing. We're going to flow right through with our next inhale. You step the right leg forward. Lean down, look up. Exhale, fold forward. Step the left foot up. Forward fold. Inhale, we rise. Exhale, release. Last side, palms forward. Deep, full breath in. Exhale to your heart. Inhale, scoop it up. Exhale, fold. Connecting with your breath. Inhale to the horizon. Exhale, we fold. Plant the hands to the left leg that steps back. Knee down, look up. Retain for your plank. Last one, nice and strong. And exhale, we lower knees, chest. Inhale, slide forward. Cobra. Maybe press into the hands a little bit further this time if that feels good. Maybe you're warmed up enough to come into up dog, where you press your tops of your feet into the ground. And then we press back, downward facing, wherever you're at. Getting ready to step the left foot forward, left foot steps up between the hands. Inhale. And exhale, right foot comes up to meet it, forward fold, empty, empty, empty with the breath. Inhale, we rise. Unhinging all the way up, maybe a little back bend at the top to dog. And then exhale, release the hands beside you. Good. Turn your palms forward, maybe step your feet an inch or two more apart just for stability. And if you'd like, you can close your eyes. I'm just noticing energetically where you're at in your body in this practice. So perhaps your heart rate is up, might be slightly elevated. You can slow the breath. Slow your heart rate. Feel the energy of that flowing through you. Perhaps you notice that your mental landscape has changed a bit. You're able to focus a little bit more on the sensations in the present moment and the experience in your body. After spending some time observing, you can flutter your eyes open if they aren't already. And then we're going to work with a balanced pose. It's another we're doing all the quintessential stuff, really reviewing some of these things that you're definitely going to encounter in future yoga classes. You can step into any studio in the world, and most likely a lot of the classes, they're going to have a version of the sun salutation, a balanced pose like tree, which we're about to work with, or some iteration of that. So we're going to work with tree pose, and you want to start by focusing your gaze. And your gaze is otherwise known in Sanskrit as your dristi. It's our physical eye gaze, but it's sort of like eyes on the prize. Like what do we allow into our frame of reference, and how do we focus? So we're going to find something to focus on that helps us attain this goal of balance. And so you're rooted through both feet. You can spring them right underneath of you if you haven't yet done so. And then go ahead and send your weight into one of the legs. So start to find your standing leg. And then a little baby tree to start is just take the other leg and let the knee come out wide to the sides. The hip is opening, the knee goes wide. And you just kickstand the heel of that foot against the ankle of the standing leg. And you may just work right here today. You may want to slide that foot up onto the calf, shin. Can really be wherever you'd like. Hands can be anywhere you'd like for balance as well. And if you want, there's also the option to bring it higher. Wherever you're at today, just don't want to jam it into your knee. It can throw us off balance. Yeah. Go ahead and for yourself, I'm not going to count this out, just take 3 full deep breaths. And with each breath, the inhale, it's going to be this updraft, this rise through the crown of the head, like a tree would spread its leaves or start to extend its branches. There's energy going up, the trees and the plants. And then with each exhale, sense down into the leg, into the foot, into the roots. Feel yourself anchored. Feel yourself having a relationship with the earth that's supporting you underneath. Imagine you could draw nourishment, and then maybe that's you draw that nourishment as you transition into your inhale, and it rises up, and then exhale, you send it back down. Very good. And then from wherever you're at, we're gonna bring the knee forward, extend the leg straight out, point, flex the foot, bend the knee, step down. And then if you want to do a little side to side shuffle, just walk it out before we do second side. So spreading the toes perhaps again, and then anchoring into the earth. You shift your weight into that other leg, whichever side you chose. Find your dristi, your focus. So it can be maybe on one particular thing, or maybe it's this softened gaze that's kind of just taking everything in at once. Your tree. And then doing that exercise again. Watching your inhale and your exhale. Noticing the moment, micro moment when the inhalation changes. Transfer to your exhalation. Exhalation becomes the inhalation. That moment between suspended. Equal and opposite forces, moving up and down. From here, we start to take that tree leg forward, extend it straight out in front of us, point, flex the toes. Bend the knee and step it down. Very good. Now we've come to the point in my class plan where we're going to come to the wall. And so I invite you to find a spot in the room where you have a little bit of wall space. That's perfect. Yeah, you don't need much. We're going to take legs up the wall to start. I think this should work. So you're going to set your mat up right up against the wall. I think should be good. Bring it up. And then what we're going to do, so to get into legs up the wall, you come to seated on the ground. Do whatever you need to safely come down to the ground if you need to take a knee or so. But then you're going to put one hip right up against the wall. And you're going to do a spin move. So you got one hip right up against, and you're going to start to lean back and spin yourself around so your tailbone, your seat, comes right up against the wall. You may need to do a little scoot to get there. You take your legs straight up the wall, and this in of itself is a posture. This is a gentle inversion. So maybe we just stay here for a moment, and this is going to be an option. So as we progress through our necks, we're going to come into shoulder stand from here, and then possibly out into plow. But we're going to be playing but this is right here, staying right here and legs up the wall is also a perfect place to stay. And so I invite you to close your eyes for a moment. Feel your back body connecting with the earth. Let yourself ground down, come to this lower frequency, more bass, more solid, denser vibration of the earth, which is a really good element to connect with as we start to wind down, perhaps, as we're coming into our evening. Very conducive to sleep. Connecting with earth element, back body on the ground. Just letting what's happening is the blood is just going to be draining out of our legs. So we're reversing the flow of gravity. And you can, again, invitation to stay right here and just enjoy this as a restorative pose. Or if you'd like, what we'll do next is start to play with shoulder stand. So you can bend the knees and place the feet on the wall. And then from there, maybe press the feet into the wall. Start to lift, roll your low back up off the ground. Hips come towards the chin. And you're going to look straight ahead. Don't look at your camera if it's off to the side. You're just going to look at your navel, draw your belly towards it, and then you can roll back down. We can do a few of these, just rolling the spine up and then rolling it back down and feeling the massage on each vertebra. The weight till you land it back down. And then inhale, slowly press into the feet, onto the wall, and lift your spine up. And exhale, lower it back, vertebra by vertebra. So this is another option. You can stay right here very slowly, working with your breath and this rolling of the spine. Or perhaps you want to come up into the supported shoulder stand. So your chin is tucked, you're gazing at your navel, and then your hands reaching back behind you, you flip the palms and bend at the elbows and catch your low back. So you come to touch your back with your hands and your elbows are pressed into the ground. And so here we have the support, practicing shoulder stand with the wall. It'll be really nice. So maybe you start to lift one leg up at a time off the wall, just extending one leg into the air at a time. Although the chin is tucked, you're still breathing fully. There's a little bit of constriction in the throat, but you're able to breathe fully. And with the support of the wall, you may even be able to press into the wall and roll your shoulder blades back, squeeze the shoulder blades together, bring the elbows closer together, and that'll help you maybe walk your hands a little further down your back, it's really towards your upper back because you're inverted, but holding more of your middle back perhaps, and then you play with one leg, maybe even two legs in the air, if you'd like. So you can use the wall or you can not use the wall. You can totally come away from the wall if that feels right. Good, breathing. So option to stay here in your shoulder stand, working with this posture, Sarvangasana, or we can start to play with coming to Halasana or plow pose, where you scissor one leg overhead, back behind you, let it scissor back, and just let it go as far as it wants to, and then you bring it back up, and you can scissor the other side. So you can do one leg at a time. Sometimes it feels really, really good. And that might be where you're at today, just like a little baby scissor move. Or perhaps you start to go a bit bigger and see if you can touch your toes to the ground overhead. There's also the option to bring both feet down. You want to support your back the whole time, never letting go. Hold on to your back. And breathing. This could be a very intense stretch. The whole back line of the body getting stretched from the tips of your ankles down the legs, wrapping around your seat, all the way down your back. Shoulders, neck. Breathing deeply. If you happen to be in plow and it's a bit intense, you can always lessen the intensity by separating the feet slightly into more of a V shape
and bending the knees is an option. And so we're going to spend about 1 more minute in this play, this dance. And so you can be in plow, you can certainly be in your shoulder stand, you can be supported by the wall, or you could be in legs up the wall. But the invitation here is to not come right up against your edges. We should never be in a place of discomfort. It's not conducive to the mental practice of yoga. This should allow us just this gateway, this gentle opening into feeling a little bit more connected with our self minus the ego, that Atman self. So when we're pushing ourselves into pain or into shapes that our body's not ready to do, that's very driven by the ego. So you can let that go. No expectations here. And then from wherever you're at, you're going to come out of this the same way you went into it. So that may look like coming back up to shoulder stand. That may look like bending the knee, finding the wall. And then rolling the spine back down. So if your hands were supporting your back, you'll get those out of the way and you'll roll your spine back down. We'll meet in legs up the wall. And just take a moment and notice if you're in legs up the wall, what those postures did for physical body, mental body, energetic body. And one thing, there's an invitation now to split the legs, let them open wide into a nice wide V. You bring the hands to the insides of the thighs if that feels good. Just letting gravity open the hips as you're against the wall. Taking a deep breath in. And then bring the legs back in together, bend the knees, draw them into the chest. You can hug your legs, maybe rock a little bit side to side. Perhaps coming into a happy baby pose where you bend the knees and you grab the bottoms of your feet and you draw the knees towards the armpits or the shoulders, out wide to the side, as wide as this feels good. And you use the strength of your arms to just draw those bent legs down towards you. Tops of the feet are being shown to the ceiling, and you can rock. Maybe you extend one leg long as you rock towards that side. And smiling a little bit, so it's called happy baby for a reason. Smiling is part of the posture. And then bring the knees together. Hug them in once more. Go ahead, take a deep breath in. Exhale, lift the head up towards the knees and just curl in for a moment. And then from here, lower the head back down. You can just roll to one side into a little fetal position on one side. So let the feet and knees drop to one side. And then rolling more onto that side, you can press your hand into the ground and lift yourself back up. And you're going to crawl forward on your mat. So just realigning yourselves on our mat. Here, we're going to find all fours. And we'll find that cat-cow again. So hands spread wide. I'll back up so you can see it. And on an inhale, you drop your belly down. Take your gaze up. Exhale, round. Press into the earth and rainbow arc your spine to the ceiling. Good. Inhale. Belly drops, gaze up. Really squeeze the shoulders back. Exhale, round. Good. Maybe one more. Excellent. And then from here, start to walk the hands in towards the knees. And you're going to come up to standing on your knees. You can certainly stay where you're at, close to the wall. Or if you want to reposition yourself, you can reposition yourself. At this point, we're done using the wall. You're going to come up to standing on your knees.
And we're going to work with camel pose. So this is a back bending pose. So your knees are directly under your hips, the hips width apart. And you're going to bring your hands to the small of your back, palms face down, supporting your low back. And you start to squeeze your elbows towards each other, your shoulder blades towards each other. And just start here. Take your gaze slightly up and see if you can find your breath. So there's this tendency in the body to automatically tighten up as we do this. It goes, I can't breathe. I'm scared. I'm exposed, is what the body's doing. It's a vulnerable position. And so we want to tell our body, it's safe. I've got you. Breathing big. And then maybe from here, you start to send the hips forward, head and chest back. Head and upper back. Your chest is reaching up. It's also moving back as well. Reaching from the back body back. That can be tiny little micro movement, or it may be a deeper arc with breathing wherever you're at. And then on an inhale, gather strength in the front of your thighs and pull yourself all the way back. Head comes back up to neutral as well. You can relax the hands down and just feel yourself come back to center. The little posture, little move, but can be quite opening. We're going to do that again in a slightly different way. So this one's kind of fun, this version. We're going to turn our toes under, gripping the ground with our toes. And then take your hands beside you, find your fingertips, and we're gonna kind of scissor slice, pick one hand, and send it forward, and then the other hand you send back. And then see if you can find that heel behind you, the hand. So find your heel. It's okay if you need to look and find it, make contact, and then you start to find that same. Now you're even more supported because you have the foot behind you, and the other arm is coming forward and up. You start to reach it up. And so this could be small. It can be like here, and that could be quite opening, or maybe really reach it straight up to the sky. Your gaze is up. You're looking wherever your fingertips are. And maybe you start to reach back. Wherever you're breathing. And then they're energized through those reaching fingertips. Follow with your gaze and come all the way back up. And release it down. Good, second side. So now you scissor with the other way. It may take you a second to get set up with the hand behind you. Find that heel. And then reach it up. These full deep breaths. Good, open. Looking back at those fingertips. And then inhale, gather strength, and rise up. Release it down. From here, release the toes. Then you're going to send the hips back. You can keep the knees wide if you like. Maybe your heels come to touch. We're going to find child's pose for a moment. So come on down. Start to, as you come down, you may find if your back is a little bit tight after that deep back bend, sometimes it's a lot to go just immediately to the opposite. And so I like to take two fists and stack those fists and let my brow rest on the fists as my spine acclimates. Maybe eventually it becomes one fist. Maybe no fist. Maybe your forehead touches the ground. Any degree of this is going to be great. And either if the head is rested on the fist or if it's on the ground, you're just going to walk it just a little bit closer to your knees. So you're curling in now. So if you can think of before we were back bending, now we're forward bending. We're curling in close. And then inhale back up to seated on our heels. From here, we're going to work with an energetic breath. This is called Bali Seal. And what it looks like is it's a linkage of breath and movement. And so what you're going to do is you're going to have your hands beside you. You're going to rise up onto the knees. Inhale and bring the hands up overhead. That's the inhale. And then as you exhale, you turn your palms outwards. Moving the camera all around tonight. So turn your palms, can't see them, but you turn the palms outwards when you're up on your knees. And then, so you're up here, your palms are out. And then exhale, start to come back down in your seat. And your like wings, the hands come behind you. And you bow down towards the ground. See if you can bring your forehead down low. Your hands are just resting on the mat beside your heels. Good. And then we come back up. Inhale, arms rotate, palms look towards each other as you come up. Exhale, turn the palms away from you. Come back down. Good. We're going to move like this with the breath. Inhale. Exhale, bow. Just becoming rhythmic. Giving all of your attention over to your breath. Smile from within. Listen to the sound of your own breathing. This is simple, but it's not easy. Make sure you're practicing just control over the breath, over the movement. Go as slow or as fast as you like. As long as you're practicing in earnestness and maintaining control. And then from wherever you're at, I invite you to do 3 more. And you just end in that child's pose when you're complete with those last 3. At the bottom of the exhale, with the forehead on the ground, close to the ground, curled up. And maybe you want to take a moment there, noticing and breathing. And whenever you're ready, you're going to come to seated on your heels. So we'll meet seated on our heels. And then from here, we're going to find a twisting pose. So I invite you to sit over, let's sit to the right of our heels. Sit over onto the right side. And then take your left leg and cross it over top of the right. And then see if you can find a comfortable seat. So you may need to move this front foot forward or back. It's a crisscross. It may not be very comfortable unless you were to bolster. Sometimes the right hip would be lifted for some of us. You can always put a pillow there, or modified would be to extend the bottom leg. So whichever way you can sit where you're feeling grounded through both sits bones, 2 sides, both hips are rested. And from whatever position that is, extended or pretzel seat, you're going to take your left hand and it's going to become like a second spine. So bringing it right up against the back body, back behind you. So you swim it back behind you, close to the spine, and then now the right arm reaches up to the sky. Deep, full breath in. Exhale, look to the left. Look, and then slice it across. See if you can bring your arm just below your knee, the low part of your thigh. And that becomes the binding point. That's a touchstone that helps you rotate. You press into that and you rotate your spine. Turn your head, turn your gaze, stretch your eyes in their sockets. Look as far into your periphery as you can. So again, part of that dristi can be applied here. The idea of our focus. We want to have we want to be able to expand our awareness. So a lot of our awareness maybe comes in through our sense of sight. So this is maybe the intention of expanded awareness as we stretch the eyes. This is the part of the body we don't think about needing to stretch or exercise very often. Kind of gets taken for granted. Stretching your gaze. And I invite you to take a few deep, full Buddha belly breaths. So imagine you could, because of the squeeze, you inhale and let the belly expand. You can probably feel it pressing up into the thighs. And then as you exhale, though, you squeeze now the other way, wringing yourself out like a dishcloth. Pull navel to spine. Draw the belly in and back. Very good. And then from here, we're going to unwind. So you can inhale, come back to center. Maybe you take a little counter twist. You can pick the arms up and bring them over to the right side of the body. Look to the right, little counter twist. And coming back to center. So we're going to switch sides now. If you are able to just whoop and switch your legs, you can. Otherwise, the instruction this time would be to sit to the right, or no, sorry, sit to the left and cross your right leg over on top. So right leg's on top this time. Right leg on top. Left leg is either tucked up underneath of you or extended for the twist. And then the right arm is going to be your second spine behind you, nice and tall. Inhale the left arm to the sky. Reach it up. Inhale, get long and tall. And exhale, look to the right. Look. And then slice the arm down. Make that contact point wherever along the arm that makes sense and it feels good. Press into the leg as you rotate the body. Look back over the shoulder, turn your gaze. Turn from the neck, and then the eyes come next. So look as far into your periphery as you're able. Pause, and then find that ballooning breath. So inhale to inflate. Exhale, inflate, we empty. Squeezing. There's a little bit of pressure at the bottom of the exhale. Good, just continue with this. One more deep full breath. On your next inhale, you're going to unwind. Giving yourself a little counter twist to the left. Going back to center. From here, let's swing our, you can extend your legs. Yeah, take a second, extend the legs, just bounce the knees. Thunderclap the thighs. Wiggle the feet, and wiggle the toes. And then we're gonna lean to one side and we're gonna come onto our belly. So we're gonna swing the legs around behind us and come onto our bellies. Resting belly down. You can take a moment, make a pillow with your hands. Letting your front body connect with the earth now. So when we were on legs at the wall, we talked about being supported by the earth with our back body, coming to that lower, more bass vibration, if you're like talking like music terms or vibrational waves. Sound waves is the low. Connecting to that earth, the element. And there's a difference. There's definitely, when we have our backs to the earth, there is this idea of like, she's got our back, but there's this support. And then, but here with our bellies to the earth, it's more still supportive, but it's a nurturing support. Coming back into kind of our developmental stages early in life. This embrace, we spend a lot of time belly down. Nuzzling, being comforted, a bit more maternal. And so just allowing yourself to feel comforted, nurtured. Before we take a few more back bending poses. And so from here, I invite you to bring your hands back behind you, palms on the floor, beside your thighs or your hips, fingertips reaching back towards your feet. And we're going to do a modified version of the locust pose. And so the locust, your chin is extended out and it's touching the ground. So your throat is getting stretched gently. It's all about the chest and throat. This is working with our endocrine system, our glandular system. So a lot in the neck and throat, collarbone area. And so from here, you're going to bring your legs together, point the toes back behind you, and then on an inhale, let's lift one leg at a time. Go ahead and float the right leg up off the ground. Everything else stays down except for that leg. Float the right leg an inch or so off the ground. Inhale. It could be quite low, or maybe your body takes it higher. Deep, full breath. And exhale, lower it back down. Good. Now it's the left leg that rises. Inhale, lift that left leg up. Float and hold and breathe. And then exhale, lower it down. Again, we'll go to the right leg. Right leg lifts up. Maybe it lifts high enough where you can bend the left knee and catch the foot. So you make like a little pedestal. Yeah. So the foot catches. It could catch at the ankle and be quite low, or maybe it catches on your shin or above your knee. And then you release the pedestal. Exhale, lower the legs back down. Second side, it's the left leg that lifts up this time. You can raise it. And then maybe you create a pedestal by bending your right knee and catching the leg. Breathing. Again, chin and chest stay down. You're opening through the collarbone. And then exhale. Take a moment. Just let the ankles drop open for a second before we come into the fuller position, this fuller expression of our modified locust, which is going to be lifting both legs together. And so go ahead and press your palms into the earth. Keep your chin and chest down. On an inhale, lift both legs up like a little mermaid tail, lifting them up, keeping chin and chest down, trying to anchor down. They may just lift an inch off the mat. Maybe they lift higher. Press, press, press down through the chest. And then exhale, lower both legs back down to the. From here, let's bring the arms forward. And then bring the elbows in and rise up into Sphinx pose. We're in Sphinx pose with the elbows are underneath of the shoulders. And you can look up with your chin. So again, this is also, we're working with the lymph, thyroid, we're clearing, energetically clearing the throat, our fifth chakra, which is the energy center in the body, where we give voice to our ideas, our expression, our abilities to express. And so go ahead and spread your fingers super wide and imagine you could claw your way forward on the mat, but without actually moving. You're just imagine you can drag your body forward, and you might start to feel yourself getting longer on your belly just from that sensation of plugging the arms into their sockets and trying to draw yourself forward. Reach forward with your heart, your throat, your chin reaches up towards the sky. Look up from the tip of your chin. And then from here, let's take a deep breath in through the nose and then out through the mouth. Stick out your tongue, bulge your eyes. Ha, H-A, ha, breath. Good, again, inhale. Exhale. One more, inhale. Exhale. We're just clearing out all the cobwebs, all the gunk. Good. And then you can take your elbows wide and roll yourself. Make a pillow for just a moment. And then actually what we'll do is we'll work with the nuzzling. I did a little bit of this last week, I believe. But again, with our bellies to the earth, this comforting posture, you can bring your forehead to the ground. Maybe you frame your hand just on either side of the head. And you can just slowly tuck the chin to bring your brow right down onto the earth. And you can nuzzle very slowly, rolling across the brow. Just moving
through the neck, very slowly, a gentle bit of pressure as you roll across your brow. So just as we started our movement practice with our neck rolls, here we are just continuing to work with the neck. And then perhaps you look to one side and you let your cheekbone come to rest on your mat. So you can pick one side at a time. Your cheek comes to rest. And then you can nuzzle that cheekbone in, rolling across the bone structure of your face. And so this is how we as babies would begin to relate to our world, and we develop. This is developmental movement where we start to become aware of space, spatial relationship. This is how we learn that. So we can go ahead and just take this time to reconnect with that infant mind, our own innocence, and going back into how do we learn? How do we know? How do we find truth? A lot of that we just need to figure out for ourselves. A lot of information coming in all the time. When you're ready, you can go ahead and switch sides, just doing the same thing on your other cheek if you haven't yet done so. Giving yourself that allowance. So much we get this message that I should really have so much of this figured out. Why do I feel like I don't have this figured out? It's okay. It's okay not to know. It's a process. So part of that, our knowing, comes from deep listening. So now coming into that space of deep listening as we move towards our final relaxation. And so completing this nuzzling exercise on that other cheek, taking pause, and then you're going to roll yourself over onto your back. And so whichever side you're looking at, take that hand, press it into the earth, roll yourself on over, and then recenter yourself on your mat. And then we're going to go through a process of tensing and releasing our bodies in order to remind each part of ourself what it feels like to come into a deeper state of relaxation. And so you're just laying there in Shavasana, feet slightly apart, arms slightly away from the body. Just lining the head up in line with the spine. You can close the eyes if you're comfortable. And you can start with the right leg. You can lift your right leg an inch or so off of the ground and make fists with the toes. Squeeze in. You point the toes, tense all the muscles in that leg, and then release. Drop. Now the left side, lifting the left leg slightly off the ground. Make fists with the toes. Squeeze. Flexor to heel. Squeeze. And then release. Up towards the hips. You can raise your hips slightly, squeeze your buttocks. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And release. Go ahead and press your low back into the ground and engage your abdomen slightly. So you can tense at the belly. Tense, tense, tense. And release. Up to the arms, actually. Let's go out to the arms. Lift the arms, both arms at the same time, an inch or so off the mat. Make fists. Maybe you curl those fists in, squeeze. And then extend, reach those fingers far out beyond your feet. Reach and release. Coming up into the chest and the upper back. Squeeze your shoulder blades together, lift your chest. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then from there, let's do the opposite. We're going to bring we're going to hug forward on our heart and squeeze our shoulders up towards the sky, pressing the upper back into the ground. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then press the shoulders down towards your feet. Press, press, press all the way down towards the feet. 10 and release. From here, we're going to move up to the face, making a sour face. Squeeze all the muscles of the face in towards the nose.
prune face, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then stretch the face long, open the eyes, look back, stick out the tongue, long stretched face. Again, that exhale if you'd like. And then relax the face. Deep breath in your body. Just gently rock the head very slowly from side to side, massaging the back of your skull into the mat. And lessening that movement bit by bit, like a pendulum coming towards stillness. Until eventually, all that remains is the memory of the movement. And eventually that too becomes still. Our Shavasana is a conscious rest. One exercise that we can do, that will guide us through, is just a scan of the body. Focusing in on each part of the body, again, but without movement. We just, each body part come into a fuller relaxation. So mentally scanning the body without any movement, just sending your awareness and follow my cues, the sound of my voice. Say to yourself, I am relaxed. I am relaxing. Travel down to the feet. Bring your awareness into your feet. Toes, heels, the soles of my feet are relaxed. The bottoms of my feet are relaxed. I am relaxed. The arch, but the ankles are relaxed. Ankles are relaxing. Up the legs, the shins, calves, backs of the knees. My lower legs are relaxed. My lower legs are relaxing. Up to the thighs, the powerful muscles of your thighs, wrapping the front of the thighs, the inner thigh, back of the thigh, outside of the thigh, of the thighs. My thighs are relaxed. My thighs are relaxing. Traveling around your hips, your pelvis, your groin, your seat. Hips are relaxed. My hips and all of my vital organs that they hold, my organs of reproduction, excretion, digestion, organs are relaxing. Bringing your attention to your low back. The low back is relaxed. Traveling up to the middle back. My middle back is relaxed. Up to the upper back. My upper back is relaxed. Sensing the whole length of my spine. Whole back, my whole spine is relaxed. My spine is relaxing. Circling around the torso, over the ribs, the chest, the heart, all of your vital organs. Scanning here, the lungs, whole torso. Mentally saying to yourself, my torso is relaxed. My torso is relaxing. Up the chest and out to the shoulders, upper arm. Feeling your shoulders, upper arms relaxing. Shoulders and upper arms are relaxed. Shoulders, upper arms are relaxed. Sense your elbows, the elbow creases, all around your forearm, your wrists. My forearms are relaxed. Forearms are relaxed. The hands. So much of what we do in this world is done with our hands. Let us now let them rest. Let them relax. Feel your wrists, palms of your hands, the thumb, pointer finger, middle finger, ring finger, pinky finger, around each finger, up the backs of the hands. The hands are relaxed. My hands are relaxing. Take a deep breath in, traveling back up the arms, into the chest, the collarbone, the throat, neck. Throat is relaxed. Throat is relaxed. Back of the neck, back of the skull, jaw, mouth, teeth, tongue, lips. Traveling back out to your ears, across your face to the center of the nose. Breath. Sensing your eyes behind closed eyelids. Your temples and brow. Sides of the head. Crown of the head. Whole skull. The sensing. Your whole face is relaxed. My face is relaxed. My face is relaxing. All of your hair. Hair is relaxed. Hair is relaxed. I am relaxed. I am relaxing. Slowly, slowly begin to deepen your breath. Coming back into awareness. However gently you wish. Start to invite yourself back into your physical body. Maybe resolving to carry some of what has been expressed or realized or experienced. You're going to carry that into your evening, perhaps staying in a place that is just a bit more peaceful, a bit closer to that sense of liberation, whatever that means to you. We each get to figure that out for ourselves. It's a beautiful path that we walk. The paths are many, but the truth is one. You're just slowly awakening however you may. If you'd like to stay in Shavasana a bit longer, you're welcome to. Otherwise, just be gentle with yourselves emerging. I want to thank you for joining this series. It's been an honor and a pleasure to share some of these insights with you. And we only began to scratch the surface of this wisdom. Yeah. If you enjoyed this, I encourage you to seek out more yoga. There's so much that's now accessible to us online. Studios may be opening in your area. But practicing however you may, however you like. Namaste. Namaste, we didn't talk about Namaste. Namaste is the light in me. Honors, sees, recognizes the light in you. Our lights see each other. It's light. Namaste. And Jai. So just keep the peace. I'm just going to end our call. But I want to thank you all. If you have any questions or anything comes up for you, you can always reach out to me on those emails with the content that I've been sharing.